Well, it's 10 o'clock, past 10 o'clock. Discussion and interaction as to the availability of the county clerk's record room to local attorneys to perform title searches after hours. Who is speaking to this?
I'll address it.
Okay.
I'll tell you the reason. When I come into office, I checked with several county clerks around the state, and they make this available to attorneys. Some counties, they have different types of policies. Some pick their attorneys that they allow to come in. Some allow all local attorneys. Some go before their county commission. Well, actually, all I checked with, one went before their county commission to get approval. And I drafted up a memo. I come up with a policy, and I presented it to the 4 lawyers in the county. Mr. Saffer called me and didn't give me a chance to explain and said he was totally against it, wanted to place it on the agenda. And I told him to go ahead and place it on the agenda, and we discuss it.
Can I have some more background, Missy, as to what's the reason, what's the function of having an attorney perform title searches after hours? What's
one,
the benefit?
Convenience of the record room not being crowded.
Okay.
Two, it is convenience to our local attorneys, and not really playing favoritism, because I've made it available to all of the local attorneys. And that gives them a chance to do their work. Because I see them, I've been in the office for over 5 years. When an attorney comes in, there's people come in, they talk to them, they ask them questions. But it does take a lot of their time. When they come in the evenings, they could be allowed to do that title search in half the time. Plus it frees up the record room. And just that it wasn't something that I jumped into to upset the county commission or upset anybody in the public. I checked with the ethics commission. As far as they knew, there was no violation as far as ethically.
Okay.
I checked with the West Virginia Association of Counties. I spoke with Jack McClung, and he also advised that several counties allow this process. He has never heard of any problems and no known abuse, and he actually was an attorney. He had a key to Kanawha County, still has the key to Kanawha County. I checked with on listserv, which is an availability to elected officials. And I had several counties respond, and like I said, the county clerk's listserv. Okay. And I had several counties respond, and there again, some of them had different policies. And I'll just tell you some of the things that we come up with, and then we'll go from there. Okay. The memo that I sent out to the attorneys was just said, after some research, it has been determined that several county clerks throughout the state allow local attorneys access to their record rooms after business hours. Okay. And then I said that I was going to do that. And I told them to call and ask any questions. Well, the ones that are opposed didn't call and ask any questions. They just called and stated they were opposed. But my procedures that I come up with is that the local attorney requesting access would have to be in good standing and be an active member of the West Virginia State Bar and a member of the Pocahontas County Bar. Okay. So that kind of limits who. I wasn't going to extend it to paralegals or assistants because they're not under the bar. You would be required to check out a key. Okay. You wouldn't have a key to the courthouse. You would have to be in the office by between 3 and 4:20. Check out a key.
The day of business.
The day that you wanted to do it. Check out a key, and as you left the clerk's office, you would drop that key back in the drop box, so they would not be leaving the premises with any access back into the courthouse. We have a camera in our office that it could be monitored. It is capable of recording. There's cameras in the hall. And I just didn't see that there was a problem. Out of all of the counties I checked, I think I checked 20 counties. 4 said no. The others said yes. Well, that's 2/3.
What do you mean no and yes? I'm sorry.
No, 4 counties do not allow access. They just never have offered it. The other counties all allow access. They have different procedures. Some counties allow their attorneys to have a key to the courthouse and to their record room. Some counties, the county commissioners have keys to their rooms. You know, it's just different procedures, and that's the problem. That's why it's on the menu. Mr. Saffer, on the agenda, Mr. Saffer requested it that it be placed here.
Thank you. That's a good explanation. I guess I made a couple notes here. The security concern is my question. You spoke just now kind of to that with the cameras and the key checkout idea.
And another thing that usually we would advise 911 because they have the camera systems in the hall. I would advise them that someone is here in the evenings, and they would know. And we're not talking late hours, 11 or 12 o'clock at night. You know, it's.
Is it? It seems to me it would be safer for attorneys, anyone who does title searches, to do it during business hours because you're there, staff is there.
I do.
To what degree does being during business hours deter, bad behavior, documents being changed or going missing?
Well, as I said, when I checked on these other counties, no county has ever had any problems or abuse with this system. Through the day, someone can get a record book put back wrong. They can forget to put the pages back in. That could happen in the evening too, but it could happen just as well in the day.
What kind of things could happen that just don't get noticed ever? Day or night?
Well, I'm not. I was told this. I wasn't a part of this. That pages had gotten glued together. I'm assuming that was through the day, not the night. But that can happen in the daytime as easily as it could the evening.
I got to say that my feeling is that I'm not really keen on the idea of after hours. You said several counties do this. Do you have a number of how many counties
I didn't check with
have
all of
any
the
kind of evening access for attorneys?
Monongalia County.
Okay.
They have access. They have. They went through their county commission because they give a key to the courthouse door.
Okay.
They have. I think they have to sign a contract. Mason County allows it. Marshall County, Doddridge County, and I have a note out here. She said that they have done it for years and have had no problem. Pleasance County, and then our neighboring counties: Randolph, Nicholas, and Pendleton. Ohio County allows it. Barber County, Jefferson, Kanawha, Webster, and Putnam. That's who I checked with that allows it. Greenbrier, Clay, and Hancock, and Monroe. They don't allow it. They just never did start it.
How many counties was that?
I'm not sure.
It's about
Close to 20, wasn't it?
Close to 20.
And then I had some others that had responded on listserv, but like I said, I didn't think it was going to be a problem. I had deleted them.
May I speak to this?
Please.
Thank you. First of all, let's put this in perspective that the 713 West Virginia Code, Jurisdiction, Powers, and Duties of the County Commission states the first sentence that the County Commission, through their clerks, shall have the custody of all deeds and other papers presented for records in their counties, and the same shall be preserved therein. So we certainly have a say in this. It is our superintendence of these records. Number two, I do not believe that attorneys have any greater right to the use of courthouse facilities than any member of the public who pays taxes and who lives here. I would say that attorneys are equal to surveyors, title agents, people doing genealogy research, oil and gas research, banks, people who want to do bail bond recognizance research, people who want to come and look under tax matters, liens, those kinds of things. Attorneys have no greater privilege than anyone else. And if the clerk feels that the record room needs to be open in the evening, then she herself should be there to superintend and supervise what goes on in those very valuable documents which must be preserved. The fact that we have cameras in there are to catch someone after a problem has occurred, not to prevent it. And secondly, I doubt very seriously that the clerk or any of her deputies are going to sit there for hours the next day and review those videos and tapes to make sure that something hasn't gone amiss. I would point out that one of the most intricate legal cases to ever come before the circuit court in this county concerning a record was whether or not a will said farm machinery or farm and machinery, and it had to do with the insertion or a comma in a will. So the fact that a record would be destroyed or not. It could be changed just ever so slightly. But that really isn't the issue. The issue is, why in the world are attorneys any more able to have access to the courthouse than any other member of the public? That's the thing that really concerns me, and of course the security of these documents. So I think that it is not in the best interest of the county to allow such a policy to go forward. And as an attorney myself, I certainly don't see the need for it.
Walker, you have?
Well, I didn't find out about this till yesterday, and I've only talked to one person about it, and they're basically irrelevant to Pocahontas County. But I tend to agree with the fact I'm having a little problem that the attorneys has the privilege over the general public. You know, I'm not saying they don't, but does other counties, did you ask other counties about this as far as, is it attorneys only in other counties?
So here in this county, we really don't have anyone that does title search besides our lawyers.
Right.
You know,
But-
Randolph County, other counties, they're specific. If they like you, they may let you come in, and they may not let someone else
Right.
come in. You know, so a lot of counties are specific who they
But
allow.
if you had someone in the general public, whether he's a title search or oil and gas, or whether he just wanted to look for something personally, would he not have the same right as the attorneys to get the key, provided he wanted to look something after hours?
I feel no, because you wouldn't know that person. I mean, there's not a, you
Well,
know, there,
you may
you've
not
got
know
to,
that person.
right, you have to have, some grounds where you use common sense.
Right. But the
If you
thing that
know
bothers
somebody-
me about it is if it's somebody that I like and I trust and I send them down and you don't know them and you don't trust them, you say no. If it's somebody you like, you're going to say yes. You know, that's the thing that kind of bothers me with it. You know, I think
Well-
it should be an equal and fair opportunity as a whole, or not at all.
Missy, what advantage is this to you and your office to have attorneys at least come in during the evening?
Well, one, free up the record room, which is not a big problem now, but when we had the oil and gas people, our record rooms were full. Two, it generates trust deeds faster, which generates money for the county. You know, it's a quicker turnaround for the people of the county to get their title searches done in order to get their deeds of trust or their deeds recorded. I mean,
Does it speed things up for the attorney doing the title searches to not have to come in during business hours, or?
well, I'm not an attorney, I can't answer that, but I'm assuming that it would, because they don't get the interruptions in the evening that they would get through the day.
Okay, Mr. Samuels, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I had a question. I don't want to get into a discussion like the jail about it, because they're the ones that's going to be using it. Safford aren't going to be using it. I wouldn't have a need for a key of any sort. Recognizing that she's in charge of the records to a certain extent outside, subject to the county commission, does the door, if somebody leaves, or do they have the ability to lock the safe? Or does that safe stay locked,
No,
or does
it'll be locked.
It would be locked.
That's part of the procedures, it would be locked. They
What if
cannot
they-
get back in.
What if they didn't lock it and a fire happened? And that's our
What
fire
if we
safe,
left-
right?
Yeah, what if we left in the evening and
you'd
accidentally
be
got to
responsible for it.
unlock the door?
Yeah, you'd be responsible. That bothered me when I walked into the record room today, and there's the safe, and it's got to be locked in order to protect the records, because that's the whole county history, fellas. You can kid yourself all you want to. If we lose the records, it's all, you know, who owns the property?
That's exactly right.
bothers me
It
to
is
no
a
extent.
Huge problem.
Mr. Doss, do you have any thoughts?